Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, we should be live. We're rocking and rolling. Let's do this. Stock market's in an interesting spot. Ultimately, throughout this stream, I'm gonna break down the dollar, the Russell, the Nasdaq, the S&P. Answer a couple questions in the chat before I get to my mentorship group. Do more about call outs and everything. Not call outs. We talk about things. But so going through this, the dollar is going to be my main indicator for kind of where we head, and the we ended the day at an awkward spot. And by I'll get what I mean by awkward here in a little bit. So we're kind of at a range right now. And what I like to do in case you are new, because I'm simulcasting on two channels. So if you guys are new to my face, I'll give the bull and bear case, but also where my money's at. Because it's always important to know both sides of the coin. If you ever just come in here and you just buy and that's it, that was your only plan. You had no idea. You get pretty surprised when things sell off. Let's see. We get a lot of cold. Oh yeah, I did get a lot of ice. Sometime this video, talk about your channel merge thing with Brad. It's already here. Here it is. The Own the Chaos name, the banner's gonna get changed. The YouTube name changed. So you're gonna see Brad here. Sorry, if you're watching on Don Franz Show, you'll get my normal stuff. If you're watching on the Power Zone now, I think it's the new name. You'll get Brad doing his live earnings reaction when he's on. Then later on, you guys will also get all my stuff. Don Franz Show will get a lot more AI content, both how it affects companies, interviews, AI tools, just kind of a little bit of everything, just to kind of get more exposure to it. Who's the new Brad guy? All right, anyway, let's kick it off. Everybody should be here now, close to it. Make sure you guys do me a huge solid. Hit the thumbs up button and share this. Just share it somewhere. Copy the link. Pretend to share it. That's what I think really helps us out. But all the other YouTubers say it's a thumbs up and comments. Also, I'm going to ask a random question throughout this stream. And what I'm doing now is I'm giving away, I'm setting goals. And when I hit those goals, I give away the YouTube ad revenue. But to do that will be a random comment selector to the end. It's got to be the answer to the question that I asked. That's how I know people are here. Maybe they made it to the end, close to the end. So stick around for that if you want to win the ad revenue. If you guys think YouTubers make a ton of money, some of them do. Yeah, that's their income. Not mine. Stocks is my income. So let's get into it. As far as the dollar goes, on a 4-hour chart, we are inside this range. I'm gonna switch it to the daily real quick just to see, but we got to just have wicks up and down. Hit the speed bump zone, came back. Purple is a weekly zone, and I want to watch out. I'm really short the dollar, especially in the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen play. I'm really bullish the yen. I'm short the dollar. We might see a hiccup here. We might see it rise. So I'm kind of watching. And right now, and if you guys have my charts, I'm going to start, you know what the red lines mean. Anytime you see red lines like this, it's because we're inside a range. We're just sideways candles. So a close above, bullish, close below, bearish. While I was waiting, I watched Don's old Raging Bull real student review. The Raging Bull had some questionable tactics. How do I copy the alert for Don's YouTube on my phone and send a text to a friend? So click share, and then it'll say copy link, or you can click, I think, message, and it'll actually just bring up text, or copy link, and then do it that way. Let me get everything up. Sorry. One quick message. All right. I hit the like on both. 2 for 2. Bruce coming in hot. Okay, so guys, there's been a lot of talk about the VIX lately, and I've heard some YouTubers even talking about buying the VIX. My opinion on this, I have excuse me. I have watched people blow their accounts trying to play the VIX. And I mean countless. And then they come crawling to me like, hey, how do I get out of this disaster? I'm like, all right. Some of them I even helped. And then they jumped right back in the exact same play on a ticker that's not even listed anymore, TVIX. So a lot of people, they do watch this. They think they should buy it because it's cheap. Don't get used to this being cheap don't think that's cheap because you just got so used to seeing up here. Maybe you started in 2020, and that probably does seem really cheap to you. cheap to me is this bottom area on the VIX. VIX got to the tens, then maybe I would think about catching that play. Remember, this is the fear index. And just my view on it, guys, the movie's only scary the first time. You go back and watch that scary movie a second time, not really much. So what new excuse do you think that you know about that nobody else does is going to just strike fear in everybody? So be careful with this. You don't really see me zone this thing out. I know there's zones here. There's typically just a line when I chart the VIX. In the way I look at the VIX, if the VIX is above this line, skip the part. You guys notice all these candles are red and green. When the VIX is low, that next candle is always going to be red or green, by the way. When the VIX is low, it's a little green or red candle. When the VIX is high, big red or green candle. That's when you just prepare for some movement. So in my world, because I have to make money on this, is I do use stops. I have to prepare for that. And if I think there's extra volatility, I use wider stops. And all of that goes into how I just position. How do you position accordingly, to this? So for anybody asking that or about to go over that, I don't particularly care for the VIX. I would if it was just down here because it just deep in my soul, I am a knife catcher. It's hard to just not try to buy the dip. Do you believe the SEC account actually got hacked? I saw a couple of YouTube thumbnails. I don't know anything about that. Gosh, you guys, I have a hard time trusting people. And when it involves money, I trust their greed more than I trust anything else. And I haven't been let down so far. So that's why my opinion might differ from a lot of people. And I would never fault anybody for their opinions. But I would have a hard time believing it got hacked. I don't know. Everybody everybody, like as far as the SEC goes with anyone in Congress, they were old enough to have probably owned slaves. I mean, their technology just might not be up to par. So maybe they did get hacked on their little typewriters, With AI, it could have been anything. You think it's a leak? Yeah, I personally don't know. So I saw some YouTube thumbnails. With it's involving crypto, isn't it? Doesn't have to do with the new crypto accounts or anything like that. Crypto's in its infancy stage, and everybody out there, it's like their religion or it's a scam. I'm kind of in between. I think it's going up. It's in its infancy stage. I think it's been around long enough, and I am only talking about Bitcoin and some Ethereum. While I do own some other coins, like maybe I'll get rich one day off of those. I don't really care. They're going to trash. If they do, I wouldn't notice. That's kind of how I feel about them. I buy Bitcoin and Ethereum every week. I have had it. I've been doing that for a while now, ever since Bitcoin's at 16,000, like the last time. I watched it go up, watched my money go up, watched it go down. It's been a fun ride. I plan on selling it a lot later. It's not anything I trade. But with it being in its infancy stage, with BlackRock and everybody getting their ETF now approved, I think the any latecomers, anybody like that, or maybe people that they're greedy. This is all the time to be pulling tricks, under the table handshakes and money grabs. I think there's a lot of stuff going on that I wouldn't trust with this. It certainly wasn't manipulation. I have a feeling is that sarcasm? Am I just not catching up on that? All right. So as far as the dollar goes, I am bearish, and I'm hoping this channel does continue down. But we got above this zone, and it's kind of like we dipped around here a few times and then came back up, which would honestly suck for my short position. If we got back up here, I'm going in on a dollar short. That's just kind of where I'm at on that. If this pushes up, I think the markets will sell off. If this sells off, then I think the markets could push up. Bitcoin rocking and rolling. You guys notice it pushed up, came right back down to that magic yellow box, bounced back up again. I do think the biggest spot right now, it's got to be like a news thing. Every time it hits like a new $1,000 mark, 50K is going to be like the big psychological level. I think seeing it above 50K, where it is now closer to 100,000 than it is zero, we should start to see some hype probably coming back in. But one thing I do want to uh, let me just start this over because this is going to be a clip as well. Cody, focus up. Hang on. Samsung. Oh, Samsung pre-warned 35% drop in profit. FedEx, Apple does not look good. Yeah, we'll find the excuse later. Okay. The one big thing I want to stress, urge, or at least point out, put in your face about Bitcoin. And I've said this a couple times. Bitcoin's not moving with the dollar. And I was really pumped about Bitcoin. When Bitcoin first hit 16,000 after was it 2017-ish pump? I watched the dollar move, and it was actually just by coincidence because I trade Forex, so I watched the dollar, and I had Bitcoin up on screen, and I watched algos move the dollar and Bitcoin at the same time, inverse, like they were hedging the dollar with Bitcoin. I'm not seeing that now. Now, when big players are in it, I get excited because I feel like they know more than I do, and I like to let them do all the research, and I'll just kind of piggyback, not seeing that now. We know Bitcoin has this ETF. There's a lot of hype following it, so I do think this will be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. So when that ETF does come out, I think people are kind of front running everybody having to buy those coins for liquidity purposes, and then they take profits. I think there's a lot of momentum traders in here, not people that actually believe or like holding crypto. Essentially, a lot of the Bitcoin believers, they're removing liquidity. It's already a finite thing, but when they gobble it up and hoard it and then they don't sell it, it's essentially off the market. So for you guys that talk about share float or anything like that, it's essentially just less shares on the market. Less supply equals more demand. And I do think that's just not the group of buyers in this right now. So I do think we'll see quite a bit of a sell-off. Yeah, almost pump and dump style. I'll pick some up at 24K tomorrow. oh, oh, that would be drastic. That would require like an all-day, YouTube stream if that were to happen. But that being said, I've noticed it's not moving with the dollar. So those same like I struggle to say institutions, but the big reasons why I was in it and why I liked it, not seeing that now, to me, that's throwing up some warnings. That's throwing up some red flags. I'm personally not going to sell any of my coins. So how I buy Bitcoin is I buy Bitcoin automatically. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I put money into a savings account. All three automatic. I'm not dumping the savings account into it now. I don't think the big run up is right now. Now, if I'm right and we do see that sell the news event, that's when I'm going to move the savings account more into. That's how I keep my averages down. I don't. Everybody does their dollar cost averaging a little differently. I think my way is the way that makes the most sense. Sounds almost arrogant to say, but if I thought another way made sense, I would just be talking about that. How low do you think Bitcoin would dump when the ETF gets approved? 30K? That's a good question. If we're just going to throw darts, yeah, I got to say, I would not. I think 30Ks would be the lows. 35, we're going to reach at least this zone or that zone. And then I'll be curious to see if we kind of hold up this overall trend right here. It's something I talk about with my group quite often is we kind of have this trend. We get a little excited. We take some time off. We go sideways. Then we hit it again. Or we get a little just excited and we pull back. But a lot of times things kind of move up like not be careful with the lines you draw. But you guys see what I'm drawing right here. Just we get that angle, a little excited, take some time off. We sell off a little bit. We send it. Sideways all the way over, send it. So it doesn't have to pull back, but when they just explode like that, they typically there's some kind of pull over or pull back phase. So I'd be curious to see what we do around that line. It dropped over 1,000 when the fake news hit and came back up when it came out that it was fake. Yeah, that stuff I don't trust. I mean, I trust that it was manipulation. Somebody that has money. What's up, middle class investing? Why do I recognize that name? What's your name, middle class? No, I know who you are. How have you been? Okay, I was curious if you're someone on Brad's. It's been a while. How's your channel? How's you? Yeah, I know it's Vic. Because you talk about a lot of stuff in a different language, but I know you're a pretty big Bitcoin person. I knew I recognized your name. It's been a while. Shoot me a direct message in Discord. My dad taught me the golden rule. You want to eat. My dad taught me the golden rule. You want to eat, you work. Oh, if you want to eat, you got to work. Yeah, makes sense. I don't know if a lot of millennials would agree. All right, let's move on. All right, as far as the Russell goes, I tagged out of my Russell short. I talked about being short the Russell right up here, and largely I'm just gonna. I don't want to cherry pick data, but I want to just put this in the window right here. What do you guys see? Sideways, and it's just sideways until not. We've spent barely any time above this zone, and we did it back here at the last week of the year. So we're kind of back in this range, and right now we have two things, and this is going to be for all the markets. We kind of have this trend up, which was miraculous for like 9 weeks, and we have just a pullback. As far as the bulls go, that's peanuts. That's absolutely nothing to worry about. If you were bullish and you bought down here, let's just say, what if I said, hey, buy right here, but I promise you it's going to pull back this much 9 weeks later? Who's not taking that bet? Who's even going to worry about this? No one. So right now, is this going to be a higher low, or is this more? This is going to be a battle of the time frames. I'm on the daily right now. Is this more a bear flag? So if we're trending down now, if this is a new trend, the daily trend is down right now. We had the pump. Which shout out to the guys that said the rally wouldn't come. Do you guys remember that thumbnail? Anyway, I talked about the rally incoming, and then we had a really impressive day. Shout out to you guys that said that wouldn't happen. Anyway, stick around, take some notes. I don't. Well, how do I word that? I do it often. Okay. Before you start typing, why don't you shut up, open your ears, not your mouth, figure it out. Just kidding. Just want to welcome Brad's group to how I really am. All right, so we kind of have, it's going to be real apparent in the S&P as far as the 4 hour goes. The bears, they're thinking, here comes a lower high. Let's go. Bulls are thinking higher low. So watching this range right here, this push up. If we break this high, I think we're cruising up. We're going to have to worry about that zone. If we break this low, though, I do think this zone breaks and we're kind of coming on back down to here. And then you're going to hear that like a broken record over the next couple futures, because this was that was the Russell. Here's the NASDAQ. Now the NASDAQ sent it carried a lot by NVIDIA, which is going absolutely nuts. We did start doing draw the red lines. I don't want to draw the red lines. Everything I draw has a very specific meaning, and red lines mean inside candle. That's kind of just a range up. Talk to the Elliott people. We're inside of a B equals C or D. I never got the math. A, B, C, D play. Toss some letters on it. We're inside the lineup, you know. How do I double thumbs up this stream? So this has, the NASDAQ has some things going for it. You know, NVIDIA, I don't know if you noticed. Absolutely crazy. But for this very reason, I had an alert set right here. And when it went off, I alerted everybody and said, hey, because I said, I'm going to go short if we break this zone. And then when that happened, I was like, I'm going to wait. I don't like shorting in the hole. Let's get the lower high first, then I'm going in. But for everybody that has my charts, whether you're like a YouTube member or anything, you're on the Patreon, usually I set an alert like that. We get the dotted line right here. You guys don't get that, which annoys me. But you know what you do get? This pink little line right here. It's just a horizontal line that I drew. And any of my zones, if you guys have my charts, you can just right click and click add an alert on there. You can add alert when it crosses, when it closes above. I just let me know when it crosses. So now when you see this specific pink line, that's an alert for me. So if that does hit, I think that will be the time I'm going short. Right now, I want to see this is lower high. Tech looks the most bullish out of all of them, because we did just kind of bounce off that zone and push up. Tech's already been at all-time highs. So this is going to be a tough one. And I don't know if I'd fight that trend just yet. That's why my alert's down here. I want to know the bears are in full action. Winnie the Pooh has a full tub of honey, and he's going to town. Then I'm going short. The tech. Right now, I am short the S&P. And here's what I meant by awkward, because we had just that impressive run up that I said was coming and it happened. But on the 4-hour chart, we had just that last half of the day, and then we just kind of stayed inside. No new highs, no new lows. So we just kind of stayed in this range, which really leaves it very awkward for me in my position, because I like to give like the bull and bear case scenario. And this one's like when you flip a coin and it just lands on its side. Like we have to wait for the thing to fall over now. So I would watch this. If it breaks this and closes up, you're going to have trouble right there. But I think if we break this and close above it, we're going to get the all-time highs headline. Uh, if it breaks below and kind of comes back down, I think that's a lower high and the bears are getting comfortable. So Ryan says bull flag. That was a beautiful win on the NASDAQ by your pink line. Oh, as far as a beautiful W. Yeah. Why not add text boxes to your charts? I know you're new. What do you want me to type out? I'm here telling it to you. You can even click the rewind button. Kidding. Because I want people to pay attention. This really is. I get requests a lot like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do call outs? I don't. Even in my group, I don't alert everybody. I posted main chat, all the plays I'm taking. For those that pay attention, they know every move I make. But I do want people to just pay attention. And then what I'd be typing forever. Like I said, I'm short this. I went ahead and grabbed SPXS, a leveraged ETF, to go short the S&P. The reason why I didn't go options or futures, I grabbed shares because it's manageable. If the S&P hits all-time highs, I will still be in SPXS. I will still be short. But I'm not adding on until we get to new highs or we get to new lows. I'm going to add on to it. If we just melt down tomorrow, and I don't think nukes are flying or anything like that, that's what it would probably take. If we just full send, I might just kind of trail my position. If we get a lower high, I'll add on. I'll be fine with rocking this thing down. But I wanted to, not go in options and give myself an expiration date. Because what if I time it? What if I'm just a week or two off? In the options world, that could be a lot of time. If you give yourself, 8 weeks and we jack around for a whole week, that can screw your whole play. You can call out something almost perfectly and be 1 or 2 days off and mess up everything entirely. Gary Gensler, man of the day. I got to figure out what happened. I'll go over Starbucks. Yeah. Don, never going to see it. You are. I'm just losing confidence, Don. No, it's happening. All right. Yeah. So as far as where my money's at, I have a lot of shares and things, and I don't mind seeing them go up. I'm riding them up right now. So when I say I have a lot of shares, just I have all my positions. I have shares, and what I will do is sell calls against them. I haven't sold calls in those because I don't want to just, as far as deltas go, I don't want to just completely cancel everything out. Because I have SPXS in there, that will cover any position if it starts to sell down. But if we do get that push up, I'm going to start selling calls on all my shares. I don't want any of my shares to get called away, which is why I don't mind waiting on those. But I got to say right now, they had me convinced we were going to see the all-time highs headlines. And then we did this stupid just jacking around. I thought we'd push up. So I said we'd push up. The thumbnail said rally incoming. I couldn't have made it any simpler for you guys. But then we just pulled back. And this morning, I even went long this morning in the futures. And I even told everybody. So they're like, oh, why are you going long? What if this is a lower high? I said, after a push up like this sell-off is just profit taking. This is just a dip buy for now. And it was, but we didn't really get anywhere. They didn't break any substantial numbers. Kind of really kept everybody guessing. So you really could argue bull and bear case at this point. I don't know if anybody right now has any more weight than the other one. Breaking this, and it's going to start to tip the scales pretty quickly. Maybe with CPI on Thursday, we will finally get a direction. we're starting to break away, I think, from all the Fed stuff. And for everyone that just knows Brad, you maybe have seen me a couple times. Each year kind of has its own theme. You know, you went from pot stocks, remember they were all the rage, then EVs, then vaccines, and then SPACs. Each year kind of has its thing. You know, when have you ever cared about a Fed speaking, let alone ones that can't even vote, have no voting power? You never have. No one's ever worried about CPI. Back from Ricky in the LPP days, no one's ever mentioned CPI. There was the oil report, there was the gas report, and then the market just kind of moved, and it did. But then during, the Rona and all of this, it kind of became relevant and the popular excuse to move things around. And if you guys have noticed, each time CPI, PPI, FOMC, all the letters, it just moves things. There's just like less and less of a knee jerk reaction. You stopped buying pot stocks. Yeah, I know it's going to be legal one day. I hear you. What is the rage now? Tech? It is. Last year was, so here's my belief. Well, now I was right last year because I said last year is AI. And I went in on Microsoft because for some reason I've just never really bought Microsoft. I went nuts on Microsoft last year. It paid out great. Last year was AI. All it was though was mentioning AI. This year, we're gonna have the elections. So if I'm wrong, it's gonna be because of it's gonna be like political stuff. But I think this year is gonna be more AI companies. Now there was EVs and kind of all the EVs just came and failed. Um, Now it's not going to be announcing how many times can you say AI in an earnings call. It's going to be the companies that are making the shovels during the gold rush. It's going to be like the chips are going nuts. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. AMD, Nvidia, Intel, just what's holding the market up. Yeah, Nvidia hit 3 standard deviations today. I did sell some 540, 545 call spreads on that today. Something I talked about with the group yesterday. If you don't understand options, don't worry about that. Hopefully those are, well, they're up right now. But I think it's going to be what we're going to find out this year are the Amazons and Googles of AI. I don't know if it is even going to be Google, but so getting back to this is important. While I'm going to say it one more time, I called this out 8 weeks ago. Coincidence? Just saying. While I do think this is coming, I'm going to let the bears do their thing, and I'm going to try to buy the absolute bottom. And by doing that, I'm going to start selling puts. I'm going to try to time it perfectly. But the things I'm going to sell puts on are going to be the giants, the Magnificent Seven, SPY, and QQQ. Because if I do get assigned any of those shares, I think they're still going to be here and still grow and catch back up. And that's the only companies I actually feel 100% comfortable with. Like, if I get assigned, I can ride that down. I still have capital to trade. There's big lines at Disneyland. Should probably buy Disney. Can you analyze Ethereum chart with your magic yellow boxes, please? I can. So that's kind of my thoughts. I think we separate the boys from the men as far as AI goes this year, and I think that's going to be the theme. So I'm excited to see if there's any newcomers that come up, or if just the pitchforks and torches come out on Tesla again. Amazon's doing a lot with AI, but I don't know. Like, they're on that slippery slope where they could see some amazing growth from it. I think they're kind of like an AI sleeper stock. But Nvidia, AMD, Intel, Tesla, I have to call in an AI stock. And I say it like that because it's still very much in an automotive stock right now. And if we do see a recession, if the excuse is what's leading this thing down, I don't think Tesla sits that one out. If there's the price war continues, inflation hit, but now everybody kind of like lagging, everybody's feeling it in their pockets now. If that starts to affect earnings, Tesla could be a great dip buy. I wouldn't give up on it, but it's one of those, like, you might have to, put your poncho on. You're in the splash zone kind of thing. Can't wait till my AI trades for me. No more jobs for Don for 2030. The day AI is trading for you, it's no more. God, I don't know. That's a whole video itself because I'm going to jump down a rabbit hole, and I just don't know. But I can tell you right now, legitimately worried about AI getting into the stock market. This is my job, not YouTube. And I do think that clock is ticking, and I'm gonna be in that universal income line with everybody else. Meet you guys in the food lines. You know, maybe I'm allergic to a food and you can have mine. We can share. Let's come up with a good group. I'm gonna build a compound, so we'll be good. Looks like Ethereum is just sideways. So purple or pink, whatever you want to call that, weekly zones. Don is AI. EBT, baby. Um, all right. I think this is going to stay the same. Yeah, breaking above that would be nice. This we can probably fine tune this weekly zone. Weekly zones, they are big because you're capturing a whole week's worth of data, and it looks like the meat of that is going to be right there in the middle. We could probably fine tune that just a tad. All right, so right in here would be my let's go yellow. So that's your daily zone inside of your weekly zone right there. Hopefully we can just send it. It wouldn't be bad. Right inside there. All right. That'd be what I watch out for on that. Right now we're sellers are here, buyers here. Breaking and closing above this zone on the daily would be pretty nice. We probably would see it up that $2,600 mark. If it has watermelon, he will die. I actually am allergic to watermelon. It makes my mouth go numb, and then I stop eating it after that. First, my tongue felt really smooth, and I found out, no, it's actually really numb. I just can't feel anything. Walgreens, great setup as well. 40 plus time on shares, no options. Didn't Walgreens just announce they are cutting back their I'm gonna do Starbucks real quick. I heard there was a long line. Didn't Starbucks just reduce their dividend? Sweet. Allergic to watermelon? That's racist. You can call it whatever you want. I call anaphylactic shock. I don't want to die. All right. Man, Starbucks could be at a Walgreens Boots Alliance reduce their dividend. Yeah, I bet that thing's is it tanking? I haven't checked, but I imagine it's not doing well. Is that why Jeremy went on from financial education is going on a long break? Dude can't catch a break with the stocks. If I was buying Starbucks, it would be as a trade. My stop would be 90.35. So my trade would look something like this. I would go long here. For those of you guys that don't know me, you're new on the channel. I like the 35-cent mark or 85 cents. I'll explain that later. Hopefully we go zone to zone. Now, what I haven't said is any number over here. I'm going to entry here because that's where it's at. Stop loss is below the wicks. I did once get called a cheater in the stock market because I put my stop below the wicks. I don't know if you want to take some pride into it or maybe do the same. I don't know. I found it pretty profitable. Entry, stop loss, 93. So we'll call it 90. About $3 per share. If you only want to risk $10, you can only afford 3 shares. That's it. It's how it works. Entry, stop loss. How much per share is that? What's your risk tolerance? Aside from anything else, how much do you really want to? If you're at the blackjack table right now, you're gonna put $100 down. You're gonna put $1,000 down. Where is your number? And how many shares can you fit into that number? That's how you do risk management. Not, I'll just take a starter position and add on later. Like when it sucks a lot. What he means by 85, he really means 84. What you're teaching is great. Do you ever use volume profile as well or delta? Deltas I use a lot in options. I have videos on deltas. Volume profile, no, but I've had a lot of people use the volume profile and they say it just matches up with my zones. These magic yellow boxes. When I'm looking at these candles, I'm looking at buyers versus sellers, not a specific pattern, or if it has a name to it, doesn't really mean anything. So take that for what it is. I do like volume profile. I make fun of a lot of indicators. If you're new to me, it's all just in fun, in joke. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but I couldn't make fun of volume profile. If I was at a casino right now, I would go to the massage area. You can gamble. There's a massage area. Okay, so we're talking about Is it Walgreens? Okay, Boots Alliance. Something about the 24. I see what you're talking about. But the 24 support reclaimed. It's a good recession dip pick. Fellas, don't be sending any dip picks out. Hopefully the AI didn't pick that up. Okay, so 24 reclaimed. Interesting talk. You'll notice they reduced their dividend, dropped it down, hit that box, turned around. Green is one of the few charts I have a green zone on. Green is actually monthly. Um, Interesting. I would be very. Oh gosh, I gotta say, if I bought this for any reason, I don't know. I would either, you know what I would do? I'd probably just put it right down here, 1945. Typically, I would have bought in that zone. My stop would have been 21.35, and I'd be up right now. I'd be good. I'd be good to go. If I'm buying this now because they reduced their dividend, and that's going to be fun. Almost cut the thing in half. So that sucks. Typically, they raise it when the stock goes down. I wouldn't play the zone right here. I would just play all-time lows. So I would go long 25.35. My stop would be, we'll call it 19.35. So $6 a share. And if that stops out, I'm not even checking my phone. I don't even care. If that hits any low past this, the reversal wasn't here. Nothing I would care about. I'll buy it later at $6 maybe. What is the new lows for this thing? Yeah, I'll worry about it later. Like actually 5. Just under 20 is a good stop. Yeah, and if you think so, and for whatever, I trade the same stuff over and over again. But I like to break down stuff for other people, and don't let my opinion get in your way. But you're catching a knife. You know you're catching a knife. Why would you watch your money evaporate? Give it a solid chance. Like, hey, this is going to turn around because I think so here for whatever reason you have, whether it's an indicator, you saw a YouTuber, you saw another YouTuber, you thought that was due diligence. Whatever your reason is, just put a stop somewhere. And then when it breaks that, your story was clearly wrong. If you think it's a good dip, a good dip pick, I can't say that with a straight face. For 2024, cool. Should be turning around right about now because we're in 2024. That's I would just have a stop there and then move on. You're either right or wrong. That I hate to break it to you guys. That's it. Now, those are your two outcomes. There's no such thing as managing a red trade. You're just wrong. You lost some money. Move on to the next one. There is managing a green trade. Squeeze every dollar you can out of it. And that's where personally I like to just trail the position. I don't like there's people that will take profit and scale out, and everyone's got their own way of doing it. I like to just trail things because that I've been surprised way too many times. I used to think, wow, that's really high, and then I would sell shares. And the next day it would gap and go. Like, wow, would have been a home run, but I went and just took a solid trade. Not bad, but I didn't like leaving money on the table. So I just put my stop loss in the green and I just keep moving it up. I don't like to be surprised. I like Dawn after a 6-pack of Monster. Am I really that different? Because I did have a Monster today. Nima, you wanted me to go over a ticker, did you not? Tesla 210. What's up, Jeff? Tesla to 210. I got to delete some of these. Coincidence? I don't know. Tell me. Anyway, maybe it is the monster. It is the monster speaking. Demons. We're going to delete that. Okay, Tesla to 210 puts it okay right here at these lows. I would probably say more the 200 mark. I don't know if we would just turn on 210. I think if we make it that far, we're hopping on down. Are you a Starbucks? Okay. You're in at 2380. Stopped 24. I won't lose money. Always a stop. Oh my gosh, are you on my channel or Brad's? If you're on my channel, that makes sense. I'm glad you watched. If you're on Brad's, I'm about to fall out of my chair. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta say, and I hate to because usually there's some Tesla bull that loves to just like freak out every time someone's like, it's probably gonna sell off more. And they lose their minds. I don't know if you guys heard Elon's doing some pretty hard drugs. I couldn't take that article seriously. But I just don't think we 210. If we're already there, I think we're cruising on down. It'll be the sub 200. Brad's people can see you now. Yeah, I'm simulcasting on both channels. So if you guys see me or hear me reading a comment that you don't see, my chat that I see is both the chats combined. I'm from Brad, but haven't watched in years. Oh, well, that is amazing. Let's see. I'm a tough guy and don't give up on my trade pick mindset. Is your biggest enemy in trading? Accepting loss is your strength in trading? Yeah, leave the egos out. That's why women are typically better traders because they just don't have any ego or pride in the way. What's up, Michael? Michael McGovern. That sounds like a politician. I know it's because governs in the name, but I feel like that's a strong name. It's gonna get a lot of votes. You gonna jump in the office? I'll let you use the slogan. What's up? What's up? I also haven't watched probably since 2021 what was previously in the mentorship. You millionaire? I've been following you and Brad since you guys broke up with Ricky. I'm gonna send Ricky some flowers. One thing I've never seen is Ricky's Instagram. I don't know why. Someone shared an Instagram post. I found out I was blocked. Never even seen the thing. So I got to send him some flowers or something. Maybe like a get well soon card. I don't. What do you send people like that? Be my friend. Um, we don't have big heads like the guys. I know you ladies have it good. All right, let's talk about Nvidia. Everyone's favorite. There's a lot of lines on here. A lot of lines. This is the expected move. This is one standard deviation, two standard deviation, three standard deviations, and it's Tuesday. And there a song up on a Tuesday? Something like that? Yeah. Nvidia went nuts. I do think Nvidia is a little overbought right now. I think the fireworks are probably done. I got a 99% chance that I'm right if you know how standard deviations work. That's insane. That's why I sold the 540, 545 call spread for this Friday. I think this chills out. I hope the market sells off, but I might have to hedge SPY with Nvidia. A YouTuber told me that a long time ago, but I might actually be doing it. Nvidia, he thinks 466. And what? And then you woke up. You on some of those hard drugs Elon's trying? In a dream world, yeah. So, in all seriousness aside, some chip bill was passed, I guess. As far as Nvidia goes, Nvidia and AMD are really going at each other's throats as far as competition goes, which is great for any kind of innovation, anything. And in a year of AI, while I have those candles drawn out on the S&P, I think we come down. I think the recession hits. While there's the difference between the real world and the stock world, I do kind of think we'll use that as an excuse to send things down. Things like in Nvidia, I almost want to just not talk about because I don't know if they're going to share that same story or even care. Like, yeah, cool story. Recession, we'll fix that next year with AI. We'll have a robot come help you out. Robots will probably be giving us food in the bread line, powered by Nvidia. Nvidia Nvidia at any number lower than what it is now kind of just seems like a buy. If we do take a step back, Nvidia has had a very, very impressive run. I think there's a lot of people saying it's a little rich right now, a little frothy, maybe. But we pushed up. Remember what I said earlier in the stream? When we run up like that, there's some kind of pull over or pull back phase. Nvidia just pulled over and it's starting to creep up again. And it being one of the leaders in AI, I just think it gets better. So I wouldn't necessarily chase. And if you guys followed me last year, you know how annoyed I was at Nvidia because for a while there, I added to literally every position in my investment account but Nvidia because it just kept going up. I like to buy the red candle, I like to buy the dip. I want a sale. There's a difference between on sale and clearance. Like Mullen, that went away. How many people said that was the next Tesla? It's adorable. But anyway, it just never pulled back, never got the buy, so I just never did. Sucked. I had to wait till it was over here. I would rather buy at sideways action like this, where I know we're pulling back, we've thrown off some wicks, I kind of know where a low is, than randomly buy some of these hype green candles in the middle. Just follow Pelosi. She has the magic yellow boxes. Yeah, she is. She's insane. Uh, all right, but Nvidia to 600 this year. Next week? We're already almost there. That's literally right there. I'm just, also just kidding, but Pelosi bought the 120 calls on Nvidia. Okay, let's do a quick lesson real quick so I can explain why she did that, and why someone else buying the 1,000 calls is probably going to be broke, and why Pelosi made a bunch of money. Let's talk about deltas real quick while TOS installs updates. So for everyone that doesn't know this, whether you trade options or not, it's a great thing to know. So shares are hard deltas, options are soft deltas. They say an options contract is for you. It's like buying 100 shares, and if you're right, it could be. But your deltas is actually how many shares you're controlling. So buying an at the money, you'll see it's about a 50 deltas because it's also your percentage chance that it expires in the money. Your at the money is 50-50, whether it goes up or down, and your deltas are going to be right there at the 50 mark. So when you buy a position deep in the money like that, that's called like a synthetic long position. So you went long, but you didn't want to fork out all the capital for to buy 100 shares. You'll see your deltas are actually 100, so you're getting a 1-to-1 ratio anyway. So right now I can control 57 shares because this is my deltas right here. I control 55 right now for $3,700. Now, how much is 55 shares of Nvidia? Nvidia's last price was $531. I'll get the exact penny for you guys. All right, so 531.40 times, we'll go 55 shares. I can spend 30, it's $29,227, or I can spend $3,700 and have the same thing. The difference is if that pushes up, you'll notice your deltas go up. So I go from controlling 55 shares to 94 shares. So that's why everything's going up. Now, your let's say Nvidia pushes up, where we at? The 535s. Let's say it goes up $30. Nvidia is now 565. 570. We'll go $35. My 3,700 is now 5,700. And your 55 shares, what do we say, times $30? 55 shares times $35, you're up 1,900. So I spent less, I made more, I control more now. So I'm killing it. Now that's why I like the at the monies. What Pelosi did was, let's go ahead. Oh, hang on. Let's just bring that back up. I don't know what expiration she did. I'm too cheap to ever play that much in the money. It's not too cheap. It's uh if you were too cheap, you would be buying this instead of shares. Because your 100 shares, again, 30 grand. Oh, hang on. Let's go. I don't know why I'm even doing this right now. 530. But I'm committed. It's literally just screwing the decimal over, but I suck at math. So buy 100 shares right now. It's $53,140. Let's go with a 1-to-1 ratio on the deltas. I could spend 18 grand right now. She bought the 120s. Is that what somebody said? The 120 calls. So she's got a 1-to-1. Costs obviously a little bit more, but I can get right now for 18 grand the exact same movement as spending 53 grand on shares. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, which means every penny that goes up is a penny mine go up. So when they do that, they're spending a lot less. It's just capital efficiency is all this is about. How can I get, if I see A and B coming, how can I capitalize on that and spend the least amount? And then a synthetic long position would be how you do that. The big question is, what date did she buy the 120s? Yeah. Who knows? Probably a million. Thanks for doing the math. Didn't want to be wrong. Oh no, he's saying Jeff is saying I entirely missed the point. Oh no, what point did I miss? Oh, hey, there's an AMC. AMC headquarters in Leawood. Oh, I know where that's at. Right by, yeah. It has a real estate sign in the front yard. Oh no, I gotta go buy it. Oh, in chat. Okay. Is your options course still available? I can confirm that it's great for having an actual understanding of options for anyone lost right now. It is still, the teachable link is still out there. You might have to go to an older video. It's not on here anymore. We're switching over to just the live mentorship. But yeah, as it was donfranshow.teachable.com. Yeah, and everything in there. So every YouTuber will tell you that the deltas are how much your contract goes up per $1 that the underlying goes up, and that's cool. That's true. But it's also, there's 11 different meanings or uses for just the delta column. So for anybody that's going to get into options, do find somebody that knows options. Yeah, I do have the options course. You can blow your account at any time. Like, why not just learn it first and then maybe not blow your account? Because there's a video for each one of the Greeks, and then you don't need to know what a jade lizard is. If you do watch my options course, you don't need to know what any of the names are. You'll know what everyone is just by looking at it. But anyway, guys, I do have to wrap up here. It's been super fun. I have to get to my mentorship group now. So you guys will see me again. I don't know if Brad's going to be live this week. Maybe around there. He does right before the bell. You will see me, what's today? Tuesday. See me again on Thursday. Mentorship, don't go anywhere. We're going live right now. Everyone else, I will see you guys Thursday. Have a good one.